Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace be unto you and peace from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha the Messiah, his Son. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you another word. And our word for today is prostitute. Do you see these two young ladies standing in the middle of the road on the median? Are they trying to cross the street? Maybe they're just checking out the Try Our Asian Salad. Or are they prostitutes? How can you tell? Brothers and sisters, our young ladies are dressing like this today. How do you distinguish which is a prostitute and which is not? We're going to look at the definitions today, and it's going to be revealing to you. Anytime you have a definition, if you've been paying attention to any of our videos, definitions have multiple meanings. When we hear the word prostitute, we think of a young lady who sells herself for money on the streets. Brothers and sisters, it's more to it than just that. We're going to learn about this today. Let's begin. KJV Dictionary definition for prostitute. 1. To offer freely to a lewd use or to indiscriminate lewdness. Now, in order to understand this word lewd or lewdness, we have to check this definition out also. KJV Dictionary definition for lewdness. 1. The unlawful indulgence of lust. You see, the word unlawful means that it is against the laws and commandments of the Father, and it is lustful. And lust leads to fornication or adultery. 2. In Scripture, it generally denotes idolatry, licentiousness, and shamelessness. Now, brothers and sisters, all of these different definitions, lewd, lust, licentiousness, shamefulness, idolatry, whoredom, they are all interchangeable. They all mean the same thing: prostitute. Brothers and sisters, is this lewd behavior or not? This is what our young ladies are doing all day. This is called, for those who don't know, this is taking selfies. Look at how she's dressed. She has her jeans on with the cut-ups and the holes all in it, her belly button showing. This is the norm for today. We look at this and we say, oh, this is okay, because this is all we see 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I want to ask you a question. Does that make this behavior right? Have we checked to see what the Father has to say about this behavior? I can say we have not. Let's check it out. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 29 to 30. Verse 29. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. Stop. Now, brothers and sisters, we see prostitute. We know that the word that we use, that we saw, or the definition that we saw for prostitute, is lewd behavior. And lewdness speaks of licentiousness and shamelessness. Lewd behavior is exposing one's body. So let's change this sentence, this first sentence around. Do not show thy daughter's body, then to cause her to be a whore. Listen what happens after you've done this. Lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. Do you see the outcome, brothers and sisters, of prostituting your daughter? In other words, advertising. You're advertising her body, her shape, her stuff, and that will lead to whoredom. Believe me, if the Father says this, that is the outcome. You don't know. The Father is revealing this to you in His Word. And the reason the whole world does not know this is because we have a lack of knowledge. And the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Verse 30, ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahuwah. He signed His name at the end. Brothers and sisters, this last sentence seems to suggest that even in the sanctuary, you had prostitution. Are you starting to see the picture now? This is what is happening in church on a regular basis. Now remember, you're thinking of a person who is coming to sell their body for money. There's many different definitions. We know that it's licentiousness and shamelessness. You have these young ladies coming to church with clothes on that are more revealing than the young ladies in the street. This is why the Father says in the end, you shall keep my Sabbaths. They did not keep His Sabbaths. Why? Because Friday evenings is the night of licentious, lustful, libidinous behavior, shamelessness. This is why the Father has written this in His Word, and this is a commandment. And He signed His name on the bottom. Moses didn't say this, or none of the prophets. The Father said this. So therefore, whether you believe it or not, it is true. KJV dictionary definition for whore. The correct orthography is whore, a harlot, a courtesan, a concubine, a prostitute. Whore, to have unlawful sexual commerce, to practice lewdness. And remember, brothers and sisters, lewdness is shamelessness. I just want to ask you a question. Is this lewd behavior? Well, this is what we see on a regular basis. These young ladies are out there twerking. They're shaking their bodies, and all others can see. You see all the people all around. They can see what's happening here. This is what is called lewd behavior? Or is this the norm? Proverbs chapter 30, verse 18 through 20. Listen to this. Verse 18. There be three things which are too wonderful for me, yea, four which I know not. Verse 19. The way of an eagle in the air, I know not. The way of the serpent upon a rock, I know not. The way of a ship in the midst of the sea, I know not. And the way of a man with a maid. Now, the reason that he doesn't know is obvious, that he's never been with a young lady before. Verse 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. He says, I know not. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. Brothers and sisters, this is the behavior of our women today. They can go about, practice this shamelessness, And they'll eat, wipe their mouth, and say they have done nothing wrong. The whole world is falling to wickedness. Look at our young ladies. This is in public school. They're twerking, and they're teaching others how to twerk. Is this shamelessness? Look at these young ladies. They're on the train. They're practicing their twerk routine. People are pulled out their cameras just to take this. They want you to see how crazy these Negroes are. What about this? This is our young ladies in the streets. And to us, because we have been inundated with wickedness for all of our lives, we don't see the behavior. They're twerking on the police car. The cop is standing right there. He's looking at these young ladies, and he's smiling. But in his mind, he's saying, these people are savages. They have lost their minds. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 27 to 28. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. Do you know if you fall into a deep ditch, it's hard to get out? He said the strange woman is a narrow pit. Brothers and sisters, if you get into a narrow pit, it's hard to get out. You mess with these women, you get one of them pregnant, you're going to be in trouble for quite a few years, brothers and sisters. It's hard to get out of this thing. Verse 28. She also lieth in wait as for a prey. Now, all of these years, men have gotten a bad rap. All you hear is that men are dogs. These are women speaking. What they do is that they try to deflect and put the blame upon the men. But the Father has exposed their wickedness. He tells you that it is the woman that lies in wait as for a prey. Look at this. And increaseth the transgressors among men. What does that mean? Brothers and sisters, anytime a woman wears clothes that are advertising, that shows off her body, that shows off her shape, men are visual. They look at this. They lust after it. They want it. They begin to make exchanges in their minds of what they would do for it or with it. The Messiah said, he that looketh upon a woman and lusteth after her have committed adultery already in his heart. Now you see what it means? That she increases the transgressors among men? She's taken the hearts of these men with her beauty, brothers and sisters. And my brothers, you have to be careful. Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 46 through 47. Let's see what the penalty is for this behavior. For thus saith Yahuwah, the mighty one, I will bring up a company upon them, and will give them to be removed and spoiled. Now you see why we're captive and we're messed up today. Verse 47, and the company shall stone them with stones, and dispatch them with the swords. You see why our young men and our young women are falling. They shall slay their sons, you see, and their daughters, and burn up their houses with fire. Let's continue. Verse 48, thus will I cause lewdness to cease out of the land, that all women may be taught not to do after your lewdness. Did you know that this word was in the Bible? Well, it is, brothers and sisters. And remember, lewd behavior is shamelessness, it's licentiousness, it's lustful, it's libidinous, it's adultery, it's idolatry. All of these words wrapped up into one comes with this behavior. You have to remember that lewd behavior is connected to an action. The action is showing off one's body. In New York City, they used to arrest men on the train. They used to come on with trench coats, and as soon as they see a woman who they wanted to show their stuff off to, they would open their trench coat, show the woman, and then close it. When the police came and arrested them, they arrested them on the grounds of lewd behavior. You see? Verse 49, and they shall recompense your lewdness upon you, and ye shall bear the sins of your idols, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. And remember, lewdness, shamelessness. You see, the Father says he's going to wipe shamelessness off the earth. My sisters, if you think that you can carry on this behavior and make it into the kingdom of heaven, you are wrong. You will never make it into the kingdom of heaven. The only place you will make it to is the pit, the lake of fire that burns for an eternity. Change your ways. Turn back to Yahuwah, and you may have a chance. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. Check this out, brothers and sisters. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Now, do you see why all of this is happening today? The ones who are oppressing us are these bad kids. I mean, these children are bad. They are oppressing whole neighborhoods. People are afraid to even walk out of their homes because of these bad kids. They got guns, they got knives. They're just unruly and crazy. But the point that I want to make here is that who rules over them? Who caused them to be this way? The scripture is clear. Women rule over them. Then he says, O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to error and destroy the way of thy paths. Who is that that's leading them, and who is destroying the ways of their paths? Women. Fatherless homes breed violence. I pulled up all of these statistics for you so that you can see that the Father knows exactly what he's talking about. He didn't make this stuff up. He knows the future. He knows all of the outcomes that will happen in these last days. According to Getting Men Involved, the newsletter of the Bay Male Involvement Network, spring 1997, begin quote, 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. The source, U.S. DHHS Bureau of Census. Next, 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. Next, 85% of all children that exhibit behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes. Source, Center for Disease Control. Next, 80% of rapists motivated with displaced anger come from fatherless homes. Source, Criminal Justice and Behavior, Volume 14, page 403 to 26, 1978. Let's continue. 71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. Source, National Principals Association report on the state of high schools. This is incredible, isn't it? Next, 75% of all adolescent patients in chemical abuse centers come from fatherless homes. Source, Rainbows for All God's Children. Next, 70% of juveniles in state-operated institutions come from fatherless homes. Source, U.S. Department of Justice, Special Report, September 1998. Next, 85% of all youth sitting in prison grew up in a fatherless home. Source, Fulton County, Georgia Jail Populations, Texas Department of Corrections, 1992. Now, brothers and sisters, these are statistics you can't fight against. This is why it is imperative that our children grow up with two parents, not just the father, not just the mother, but you need both parents for them to make it. But the father is the one who keeps everything in line. If the father is not present, there is going to be chaos, brothers and sisters. And that's why you see chaos today. This is why whoredom and wickedness is running rampant in the land. No fathers are present. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9 to 10. Now we're going to see how the Father wants us to carry ourselves so none of this stuff will happen. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. And good works means keeping the commandments. This is what the Father wants from the women. Brothers and sisters, it is just about impossible to find women, the children of Israel, our women, black women, those who have been taken captive and been carried around to every country and island in the world. It is almost impossible to get them to carry themselves this way. Do you see the word shamefacedness? KJV dictionary definition for shamefacedness: bashfulness, an excess of modesty. So you see the word bashfulness. You're not shameless when it comes to bashfulness. You keep your stuff covered. You don't carry yourself the way other girls do. You're very modest in your apparel. You're not looking to show off your stuff. This is what the Father is looking for. This is why this word is in the scriptures, because this is the type of woman that he sees in his eyes is a pearl that is of great price. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5. Let's see what else he wants. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Pertaineth means belongs to. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. So it goes both ways, brothers and sisters. For all that do so are an abomination unto Yahuwah the Mighty One. Ladies, when you're wearing those pants and those jeans, you're wearing things that pertaineth to a man. Now, I've heard many arguments about this. It's still, none of your arguments make any sense. All you have to do is listen to the Father and follow his commandments, and you are safe. Why not keep his word? If he says don't wear that which pertaineth to a man, don't. Wear a dress. Stop trying to be like men or trying to be like the prostitutes, the whores that are in the streets. Be like the Father. Now look at this. He says, for all of those that do this, this is an abomination unto him. What is an abomination? It is pure hatred. He hates this behavior. You're no different than a person that is a homosexual. You see, homosexuals always get it, but listen to this. The Father says it. If a woman wears what pertaineth to a man, and a man wears that which pertaineth to a woman, they both are an abomination unto the Father, brothers and sisters. We have to learn to keep his ways. Here I have before you, we have two women. On your left, you see the woman in white apparel. Listen to her resume. She loves the Most High. She loves herself. She knows her history. She is submissive. She has a mind of her own, yet she is a homebody. She knows her worth. She is created, and she is shamefaced. Now remember, we looked up that word shamefaced, and it is bashful and having an excess portion of modesty. And if you look at this woman here, she is in she's beautiful, and she is in modest apparel. Then we look at the young lady that's on the right. Look at her resume. She loves her reputation. She is self-centered. She doesn't care to know her history. She thinks that she is right all the time with no knowledge. She thinks solely on money and success. She's always running in the streets. She settles for no good men. She is competitive, and she has no shame at all. Now, when you look at this young lady that's on the right, she is absolutely gorgeous. But look at the jeans she's got on. They're all cut up. They're showing all of her body. Her belly button is out. She has this little, I don't know what you call it. Maybe it's, I think, halter top or something. And she has no bra on, and her nipples are showing. This is not shamefaced, brothers and sisters. This is an abomination unto Yahuwah. But yet we look at this behavior and we think that this is sexy, beautiful, and the way that our daughters are supposed to dress. Look at her hair. She has weave. Look at her eyelashes. She has fake eyelashes. I can't see her nails, but most likely she has fake nails too. She may have a fake booty. She may have fake breasts. I don't know. But that is the common thing for this era. Now, brothers and sisters, no, not sisters, brothers, which woman would you marry? The woman to the left or the woman to the right? You choose. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 24 to 25. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Verse 25. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. You see that? It told you to keep from the evil woman, and evil means with the intent to do harm. You may think that she's into you, but brothers and sisters, look what it says, the flattery of the tongue of the strange woman. This is death. You better be careful. Her intent is to do you harm and to destroy you. 25, lust not after her beauty in thine heart. Now remember, I told you before that the Messiah says, he who looks upon a woman and lusteth after her has committed adultery already in his heart. You see? And then it says, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. Now, I really didn't pay too much attention to all of the fake eyelids that the young ladies are wearing today. But the Bible here in Proverbs is telling you that the eyelids serve a certain purpose. It is a part of the evil woman. It's a part of whoredom. It is a part of prostitution. It is something about the woman with these long eyelashes, batting them, shows a man that she is ready for sex. Do you see this? This is what is running rampant in the world today, lest the whole world fall to wickedness. Now you see why all of our sisters are putting these fake eyelashes on their eyes. They're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it to attract men. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 26. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. Brothers, you can have massive resources, but when you mess with one of these whorish women, that loaf of bread turns to one piece. And the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. You see who the hunter is? You thought it was the men. The women have been putting it on the men for all of these years, brothers and sisters. It is not the men. You need to get this together. You need to start reading this Bible, read Proverbs. That's all you're going to see. You're going to see that it's always the women who are the hunters. The men are the prey. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16 through 17. Let's see what's going to happen to these ladies for their actions. Verse 16, moreover, Yahuwah, the master of the universe, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Brothers and sisters, the Father here is describing our women to the T. They walk around in the streets with their heads held high. They are proud to be exposing all of the good, wonderful things that the Father has given to them for them to give to their husband. They're exposing it in the streets, and they're walking forth with these stretched forth necks and wanting eyes. You know what that means? That everything that they see that is of value, they want it. They're the hunter. Remember, the Bible told you in Proverbs, the verse before, these women are the hunters. Then it tells you walking and mincing as they go. You know what that is? You know, our young ladies, they have these big round booties, and they're shaking it and moving it up and down. They're trying to attract these men, and they're making this tinkling with their feet. No more tinkling these days. They're not wearing the bells like they did in olden days. Now it's a click, clack, and you know they're coming. Verse 17, therefore Yahuwah, you see, the Father's going to do this, brothers and sisters, will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahuwah will discover their secret parts. Now you see what this is all about. Now you see why our women are losing their hair. They're covering their hair up with wigs, and they got all of this weave going on. The weave is pulling out their hair. This is the penalty for your actions. This is a curse. This is not a blessing. The beauty of a woman is in her hair. And when your hair is falling out like this is a curse. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there should be a stink. Mayo Clinic. Bacterial vaginosis, an overgrowth of normally occurring vaginal bacteria, is the most common vaginal infection that causes a vaginal odor. Now, this word here, I can hack it up, but I'm just going to say trichomoniasis. A sexually transmitted infection also can lead to vaginal odor. Chlamydia and gonorrhea infections usually don't cause vaginal odors, but brothers and sisters, it says usually. That means that it can. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 22. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion. If you give a pig a gold ring that puts in his snout, He has no idea what the value of this ring is. The Bible here is giving you a parallel. It's telling you the same way this pig is, with this gold ring in his snout, is the same way a fair woman, beautiful woman, like the ones you've seen already, which is without discretion. And how do you know that this woman is without discretion? Because first, she does not study or keep any of the commandments. She does not know how the Father wants her to dress and how he wants her to live. The Bible is telling you that if you look at this woman and you see her fair and her beauty, and you're thinking that she's something to be desired, but if this woman is not keeping the commandments, brothers and sisters, she's just like a pig. It's just like having a gold ring in a swine's snout. Why? Because this jewel of gold that the Father is speaking about is his word. His word is non-existent to her. Now, what's wrong with this? This is Lauryn Hill. She's absolutely gorgeous. You see, she has her hair wrapped. She doesn't have fake eyelashes. Look how beautiful her eyes and those big lips. We don't need to enhance ourselves at all. The Father has made us perfectly beautiful. We don't need to do anything. But this is frowned upon. The women want to wear weaves and braids and all of the things that the Father hates. This is why he has cursed them with a scab and a stink, because they're trying to move away from the way he created them. What about this? She is an Israelite model. Absolutely gorgeous. But our women frown upon this. Why? Because they're not showing enough skin and booty and breast. They're not looking like Europeans, but they're looking like the Father, the way he wanted the young ladies to dress. But yet, there's very, very, very few. It is such a minute portion of our women who have taken on this behavior. We've adopted the ways of America, and America has destroyed the Israelites, brothers and sisters. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 15. Listen to this. This is for all of the critics. This is for all of the ones who think that maybe they say, this brother David is a male chauvinist. He's just talking about women. He don't know what we have to go through. All of the different excuses that they make. But listen what the Father says here. He that justifieth the wicked. So if you justify any action that has to do with the exposing of the skin or the body or wearing of anything that has nothing to do with the woman, if you want this to be seen as something that is natural or a part of your growing experience, you've justified the wicked. And he that condemneth the just. Now, that means people like me. I've made this video because our daughters are out of control. And the Bible commands me to cry loud and spare not. I've showed you the scripture. I've showed you the proof of how our people are living. I've showed you the statistics. I've showed you the word that the Father says. I am not speaking from myself. I am speaking for the Father. If you condemn me any type of way, if you try to justify anything that you've seen today, listen what the Father says. Even they both, are an abomination to Yahuwah. Here we have it again. Pure and complete hatred of your actions. You'll be cut off. You will never make it to the kingdom. He does not deal with people who justify wickedness, nor does he deal with people who condemneth those who speaks for him. In conclusion, Zephaniah 1, verse 27, Behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one, to find out the count. Verse 28, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Brothers and sisters, you need to get yourselves together. The Father is seeking those who will keep his commandments, who will follow his ways, who will not follow the ways of America and this world. He says amongst 1,000, he only found one man amongst every 1,000. That is such a small number, brothers and sisters. But even worse than the men, look at what he says. But a woman among all those have I not found. Wow. The whole city, he's saying, he did not find one woman. I wonder why he could not find any women. Is it because they were in the club? Or at the twerk contest? Were they at a baby shower? What is it that they were doing that the Father could not find not one of them involved in righteousness? Is it this way today? You have to ask yourself that. Now, if this behavior does not pertain to you, there is no reason for you to be getting upset. Isn't that something? But for all of those who are getting upset over this, could it be that guilt has set in? If that is the case, my sisters, change your behavior. Stop following these wicked women. Stop putting this weave, this fake hair, and having all of these demons and spirits put on your head. Cover those bodies, those beautiful, gorgeous bodies, that beautiful black skin that the Father has given to you. It should only be exposed to your husband. No other man should look upon your beauty. This is the reason why the Father cannot find any women. Everything is about some type of enjoyment. Anything that takes them away from the Father is what they gravitate towards. Anything that brings them closer to the Father, they run from this, because the Father wants too much. We don't need to do all of that, they say. Well, if you want to make it into his kingdom, you have to follow his rules, not yours, not America's, and not a design that you have created in your own mind. Come back to Yahuwah, daughters of Zion. keep his commandments, turn from your shamefulness, and live. Shalom.